this up, then we should be there, which means it's 6 o'clock. It's Wednesday night. It's Real Unfiltered Talk. I am James Bryant, along with the two-time world champion angler of the year. You never got anglers of the year. That's Dad, two-time angler of the year.
Dad did twice. Yep.
Dad did twice. Let's start over. Bass Masters Classic champion, FLW world champion, multi-million-dollar earner in the bass fishing community.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that.
If you added everything plus a few baits you sold on the side,
yeah,
I say we hit the two tickers. Don't you think?
Probably.
There we go. Mr. Dion Hibden. Dion, good evening. Welcome to the show again. How you doing?
That entails a lot of Guido bugs. I can tell you that right now.
I hear you. My post is complete. All right, I think I got it now. Let's check it here.
Wonderful.
All
Been
right.
fishing a little bit every day, trying to get out there every couple of days.
Every day?
No, not every day. Been a little windy for me the last couple of days.
Gotcha. So we have a great turnout tonight. Thanks everybody for coming in and watching the show tonight. We got like what, 9? That's pretty good.
That is good.
It's the Halloween episode.
That's right.
We haven't done that yet. It's trick or treat time.
That's right.
Tomorrow's Halloween. So if you haven't got your candy lined up and all that kind of stuff, us guys, we prefer a few baits. So run to your local tackle store, buy some baits. Whenever that poor lonely fisherman comes up the door to knock on the
leading
door,
his kids up there,
throw him some worms too.
That's
He'd
right.
be pretty happy. And of course, as always, want to give a big shout out to June and Lloyd over at Hiawatha Beach on the 67-mile marker of the Little Buffalo. Is that correct?
That's right.
573-377-2702 if you need something up the river. Fine guys. Go check them out. It's a wonderful little show. And we're going to do some giveaways tonight later on in the show. And we'll stay tuned to that. I want to thank Hiawatha for putting that together for us. So that's that.
Courtesy of Hiawatha Beach.
That's correct. It's so here in Missouri, for all of you watching all over the world, because they do.
Yes.
I don't know if the Somalians are actually watching us or trying to, tap into our show and pirate us, but either way, we've got some of those too.
Yeah.
Some Venezuelans, and you never know.
We've got some pirates, definitely.
Definitely got some pirates. That's right. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of a little taken back because you were on a vent here before the show started. You were on a toot.
Yeah, these guys got me all fired up.
So now I don't have anything else to talk about, and I don't want to relive it again. But I just said, hey, I want to talk a little bit about something tonight, just a little bit. But it turned into a poop show. You went off on tangent. So
I won't again.
You want to?
Promise.
Well, we can revisit it again. I think you'll go into a tangent. I can fuel it. You want to try?
I don't care.
So big news today in the B.A.S.S world. They've waived all the entry fees. Woohoo!
That's right.
Awesome. And you were pretty excited about that. See?
I don't know about excited, but
Poke the bear.
That's right. I don't know about excited, but
no. So I thought it was pretty cool until I read the fine print.
Yeah.
They're only paying like the top 10 spots good, and they've shortened up to like 50 spots instead of 75. Shortened the payout, and you actually said earlier, so I really don't give a crap one way or the other.
I really don't. I mean, I wish I could say I did. I just, in this day and age, I just don't as much as I used to. I used to be pretty hardcore about it, and anymore, they're going to do what they're going to do, and all the bass fishermen are going to have to like it, and that's just the way it is.
No, I know, but I know there's a lot of really big podcasts going to be like really stirring this up for the next few days.
Sure.
They're going to break it down. I mean, and we're in day one of it. I mean, roll it back to the 80s and the early 90s. Would it have been different then had they done this back then when there was sponsor dollars coming in and there was actually an opportunity to make really good money? Is it something that was done way too late, or would it have made a difference even back 20 years ago?
Oh, I could see it maybe working 20 years ago. I don't know that it's going to work this time. Because I don't think the sponsorship dollars are there like they used to be. They're too diluted down what little bit of sponsorship money there is left, and divvied up amongst too many people. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast.
Right.
Right now, there's lots and lots of people wanting to do it, and so they're willing to do just basically about anything for that few dollars, those few sponsor dollars.
Sure, but let's, educate me a little bit, because, I really don't pay attention to it like I used to. Because as we said off the air, and I'm going to say it again tonight, something you mentioned earlier while we had the off the air conversation with our fans here at the show is that there are no more heroes in bass fishing. You know, we talked about the guys that really stepped up and made bass fishing what it was. The Rick Cluns, the Guido Hibdens, the Dion Hibdens, the Kevin Van Dams, you know, all of those guys. But one of the things that you talked about was that today's angler, and I'm not, it's tying into this no entry fee thing, and that's what I'm getting at because to function in the bass world, it requires sponsor dollars. I mean,
Sure.
and a lot of it.
Yes.
So even though you save $45,000 fishing the series, you're still got $120,000 in travel expense. You still have an $80,000 boat. You still have an $80,000 truck. You still have $30,000 of the hotels and lodging and food and gas, which is now $4 a gallon. It's going to be soon, $3 after the election. Whichever way it goes, it's either going
Yeah.
to be 280 or it's going to be 420, whichever one you want to say. But um, that being said, I think, in my opinion, the big difference is, but why it doesn't make a difference now in the entry fee is because I learned something the other day, and I'm getting really sidetracked, but I bet you a lot of people out there don't know what the term pro staff means. Do you know what pro staff actually means? It
Uh,
it doesn't mean professional. It means promotional.
yeah.
So if you're a pro staff member and you're getting money, you're getting products, you're getting services, your job is to promote. It doesn't make you a professional. You are a promotional angler, which means your job is to go out there and promote those products. Today's angler, other than social media, not so much. And I think that's the big disconnect. What you guys were talking about off the air, that if today's anglers worked like the anglers did from 1970 to 2000, we'd be having a much different conversation today. And that no entry fee would make a huge difference if those guys are out actually on the ground working. Off the air, you're talking about tackle stores are going out of business. They're shuttering everywhere. And I wanted to say, well, why, Dion? Why do you think that is? It's not because of live scope. It's because the anglers aren't promoting those products like they used to. They're not telling to go to the store at your local area and go buy that crap. Now, we promote our local Missouri made plastic companies because we have to. It's our job. You know, yes, you are pro staffed through Bojangles. We talk about it on the Selfish Plug every time, but there's other ones out here too.
Sure.
You know, there's Bay Cave. You know, there are good guys too. There's Garage Swim Baits. There's a guy that hand carves and makes swim baits out there, and there's a lot more. And I can't even tell you how many guys out there are hand tying chenille and feathers and making crappie jigs.
Yep.
They're freaking everywhere. And, you know, we promote those guys. Maybe not buy them, but, you know, they're out there trying to make a buck. The anglers, and I'm getting on my unfiltered talk tonight, they're not doing their jobs. Not at
Well,
all.
they
They're
just.
relying on social media to do it.
Yep.
And that's not the way it works in the fishing
And the
world.
thing of it is, you know, you used to. I went on a little stint at Kentucky Lake. You know, went to some tackle stores to promote Bojangles. You know, here about a month or so ago, and you know, probably what caught my eye the most is that you don't see the fishermen in the stores. And when I say you don't see the fishermen, I mean you don't see the pictures of Skeet Reese, uh, Kevin Van Dam, Ott Defoe. You know, you don't see those guys on the signage and stuff in the stores anymore, and that's because they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid like they used to. You know, by them sponsors, and you know, you see just you know, some guy that they've hired to be the model. You know,
Sure.
standing there in their hat holding up a big bass or something like that. Where it used to be that spot was reserved for a professional bass angler
Mm-hmm.
that had earned the right to be in your tackle store.
Right.
You know, I've seen life size cutouts of Denny Brower. You know, in bush light stuff. You know,
And Strike King.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Strike King
That
and
was,
different things like that.
you know, it's
And
funny you brought him up. I saw him. He is making social media posts again, promoting Strike King products.
well,
And I
there.
thought, you know, what is he, 90? No, I'm
Well,
kidding. I mean, he's not that old, but I mean, but he's still out there at some level promoting the products that carried him through his career.
sure, sure, and that's what they have to have. They have to have it some way somehow. You know, and now it's all done through posting and stuff like that. You know, a
Do you
lot of
think it
people.
carries the weight?
No, I don't. I really don't.
It
I
gets the
think
it gets the logistics,
yeah,
but I don't know
but
if it carries the
I
weight.
I don't I don't see but maybe one or two guys sitting in our crowd out here that would actually use that
With social media shop
social media
or to take
to
the
shop, to research,
sure.
to look up new tackle, to what's the next best thing, stuff like that. And the sad part of it is you don't get it no other way anymore.
That's right.
You
Well,
know, and so therefore the heroes are getting lost in the woodwork. And they're
which
just disappearing.
which comes story. There are no more heroes in fishing.
There's a lot less than there used to be. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
There's guys you can respect,
Sure,
but they're not.
absolutely.
But they're not a hero.
No, there's a lot of
How
good
would you
fishermen.
classify a hero?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, we talk about that term all the time, but what makes a bass angler a hero in bass fishing
Somebody that changed the sport.
that made an impact?
Somebody that made an impact on the sport.
Okay. So I
You
refer
know.
that to a legend, not a hero.
Yeah, it's kind of
That
either
gives
way.
back, yeah. One
Yeah,
that gives
somebody,
back. Oh, it's just
somebody
community
who
forum. Go ahead.
somebody who helped
Chime in there.
create it. Who helped create the sport. I'm not that guy. I rode on the coattails of my dad the whole way.
You think
My
so?
dad was that guy.
I remember.
Okay.
I remember those interviews where even your mom would say, though, there was a moment in your career where you actually broke away from the stream, became your own angler.
Well, yeah, I
So you
did.
didn't always ride coattails. At some point,
Sure,
you've got to do your own
sure,
thing.
I did my own thing, but but the
It's
thing
nice
of
to
it
have
is,
the right last
but
name.
the thing of it is, I never minded.
Sure,
It
yeah,
didn't bother
absolutely,
me none at all to be
absolutely.
Guido Hibden's son. That was
Kind of like Jeb Bush.
well,
No,
I
I'm
don't.
kidding. I'm sorry. He was
Maybe
close.
not the
He was
same.
close, but
Maybe not
I'm
the
sorry.
same.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. It's different for me. To to be the son of what I consider the greatest angler ever to live, was pretty cushy. Pretty easy for me. To travel behind. I think everybody expected more, uh, but I give them what I got, what I had. And it worked out. Worked out. I have
You know,
no regrets in my bass fishing
I
career.
I really expected more of you last week on your crappie fishing too.
Yeah, yeah,
It was-
yeah. Don't expect much right here, right
and,
this
and I
minute.
guess in fairness, just so everybody that's listening knows, Dion and his son Peyton came in and said, "We're going to go out. We're going to catch some food." And I said, "Cool." My Lowrance isn't working. It wasn't anything to do with the Lowrance. My screen wasn't working. Turned out I had a blown fuse, which wasn't the solution, but I put a fuse in for him, got it all done. He said, "Hey, man, that's awesome. Thanks." I said, "Now go get me a bucket of fish." And I said, "I'll clean them. But, if you're going to go out and whack them, whack me some too." He's like, "I'm on it." So that evening he called me and he said, "Hey," he said, "I got your crappie for you." And I said, "Cool. I need to come to your house. You can come by the store." He's like, "No, I got you your one crappie."
That's
Ah,
right.
crappie.
That's right.
I was like, "What the hell are you talking
I
about?"
if
I
we
said, "You
would have
guys were out all day."
if we would have ate fish, you would have had to have got fish sticks from the grocery store. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yep. So I
We,
went on. I went on to say that he was as worthless as my actual words, and I'd said it not clean, but the
oh,
clean version
it's
was,
okay.
I said, "You are worthless as boobs on a boar hog," and I said, "The only thing you're good for is catching a 6 pounder occasionally."
Occasionally,
And I
yeah,
said, like 3 times now.
about once every other week.
Yeah, like once every week. That's about it. And he's like, "Yeah,
About
that's
every
about
other
right."
week.
So yeah, so I was craving some fresh crappie.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm craving them too.
But we have a little problem down here in Missouri. We got something that popped up and it's like El Nino. Something's
It's
going on.
hot.
It's
just,
hot, but we got like 2 days in a row, like 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah,
That's not good when you want to throw a little jig around and catch
yeah,
crappie.
yeah. It's not been great for lots of things.
I was,
Bass fishing still sucking. It's not great right this second.
and it's just water temperature.
It's water
It's
temperatures. A
warm,
lot of
warm ambient temperature.
it's
We talk
we're
about it
we're a
every
day
week.
we're a day or two away from November, and the water temperature's still in the 70s.
I know it's not even going to make 60 by election day.
I don't think,
I don't know.
unless something changes pretty drastically.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think it's just got the bait fish boogered up as much as anything. They don't know what to do.
So what do you? And this is a nationwide thing. It's not just Central Missouri. I'm sure these conditions are likewise. Unless you're in the South and everything's just muddy and swamped over from hurricanes. But you go from Central Midwest all the way up to the North, I'd say we're unseasonably warm. And no, it's not. It's not global warming. A pilot friend of mine said that it was El Nino, not El Nino. He's like, we all forget it happens in a cycle. He said it's not El Nino, it's El Nina, and and that's that there. But I guess we just have to be patient, right?
I I hope that's all it
But
is.
but when the water hits 60, the heydays are coming, right?
I really think if we would get just a few cool nights, and we're supposed to get a little bit of rain this evening, and I think if it starts cooling down any at all,
It's going to rain here in 4 hours.
yeah, I think it's gonna, if it just brings the water temperature
Oh,
down
it
a
is.
little, you know,
I'm the weather guru. It's raining in 4 hours.
if
That's,
it would just bring the water temperature down a little, I think it
Mhm.
would spark them into going in and start biting a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Lawson won yesterday, uh, and he had 14 pounds in the Angry Pirate, and he caught six deep. And when I say deep, I'm talking 25 plus.
Mhm.
He caught one so deep that it ended up dying because it couldn't upright itself in the live well. So that's a 30 plus fish, you know.
Right.
And then he caught two other ones to go with them that were 6 inches deep, and I really think that's still the biggest problem. They're scattered. The fish are just scattered. They're out deep. They're up shallow. You know, the two guys that won on Sunday in the tournaments that I fished, one of them's probably knows the Niangua better than anybody else. Uh, and when I say that, he can run clean to the dam up the Niangua in a bass boat, where normally most people in jet drives can't get there.
Right.
He can go up so far up the little Niangua till it turns into a creek in a bass boat, and with the MPFL last week, that's probably what he did. He probably went way, way up one of these rivers and caught a few fish that just hadn't been messed with yet.
I'm really proud of you. You got MPFL right out.
Came right out, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was easy.
Didn't even have to think
Yeah.
about it. We never can make that up.
But really, in that tournament sucked. It was terrible. Two big stringers, two 20-pound stringers. But other than that, I think the guy won out of the tail end of one of our bigger creeks on the lake.
Yeah.
The way I heard it.
Well, and that's kind of cool because it takes the technology out of it.
Yeah.
When the
absolutely.
fish stay shallow, you can be really techie with your stuff, but doesn't necessarily win you a tournament when those fish all go 18 inches.
I don't think you could win live scoping right now because the food is so thick out in the middle of the creeks and out in the open water. How do you distinguish what's a bass and what's a herd of shad or white bass and everything else?
Yeah.
That was the other thing that kind of buffaloed me the other day when I went kind of fishing for something to eat, was the fact that the white bass are still scattered, and that's because the food's everywhere. The food's out in the middle of the lake. It's up on points. It's back in creeks, and they're just scattered so badly that there's no real good way to catch a ton of them.
You mentioned off the air before we started, which you always when you start talking, all I think about is like a million freaking questions to respond to. You said off the air, it's like, hey, my wife and I really prefer a hybrid over a white bass, and I thought, why?
Oh, I like those for a baking fish. We use them to bake.
Just because they're bigger?
They're a
Or
little
do you
bit
like the
thicker. It's kind of like eating a shark steak or a tuna steak.
Mahi?
Yeah, something like that. I prefer mine when I get those. I would like it to be an inch thick or so, something like that. And I just think when you're baking that fish in the oven clear through, a thicker piece of meat works better.
Do you fillet them?
Yeah, absolutely.
They have dark meat in the back, don't they? Red meat?
Yeah, I cut most of the
You
red
cut that
meat
out?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
it's nice to
still,
talk
it's
about
just-
something different,
Yeah.
It's kind of like a guy that likes I occasionally will catch a few 9-inch crappie. That's which is legal in Missouri,
Sure.
but I like them thin and crispy.
Yep.
Not too thick, and they get spongy when you're frying fast. But but you go to Grenada and you come back with 3-pounders and they're 2 inches thick. I have to almost nugget them off, and it's just.
You catch a 4-pound hybrid and you fillet him out real good, and then, like I say, when you get him all flayed out, get him off the skin, take a little bit of that red meat out of it, and you take those two big fillets, wrap them in tin foil, salt, pepper, butter, I normally put a little Old Bay seasoning in it on top of it, but mainly lots of butter. Roll that up in tin foil, put it in the oven 15 minutes. 15 minutes, it's as good as you want to eat.
It's kind of like eating a trout. If you don't smother it in butter, you might as well not eat it. It's gross.
Well, what's the matter with butter? I love butter too.
Well, nothing. There's just some
I can eat
fish.
butter just
Some
by the
fish taste
stick.
good without seasoning,
I agree.
and if you have to season it and soak it in butter, it's probably a trash fish.
Well,
You can put that right next to gar.
I'm telling the people out there in the internet land how to eat a hybrid where it is good.
Or a white bass or a striper.
Or a white bass or a striper.
What do they?
And you can grill them
Don't
too.
they call?
You can do it the same way.
Don't like towards the west a little bit? Don't they call them sand bass?
They
Isn't that
do
the same thing?
Well, actually, in Texas, it's the sand bass.
Oklahoma, they call them sand. I was
Yeah.
at Grand Lake and I was catching some, and the guy goes, "Ah, man, it's old sand bass."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? It's a white bass, not a sand bass."
Everybody talks about how white bass tastes fishy. Okay, that's kind of what you're looking for, isn't it? Is you're going to eat a
fish that eats fish.
Yeah, you want to eat a fish that tastes fishy. You know.
I used to make fun, and you probably know this, but for those that don't, I love trout fishing. I love trout fishing. I love every aspect of trout fishing. Don't like eating trout. I just don't. They don't taste that good. And we had an old buddy here that tied flies in the store. His name was Gary Dewey. He's passed away now, but he was a master fly tyer for Royal Stevens in Colorado. He actually guided Pete Coors, some of the big names. I mean, he knew everything. And he was one of those guys that he would smoke Camel cigarettes and down to the snub, and he'd go outside and he'd field strip them. If those guys have no idea what field stripping is, if you're not in the military, he would go out there and he'd field strip it off and leave it all done, and he would smoke them down to the nubs. And we would argue over the art of fishing. And the day he quit talking to me was the day I said, "You know what? There's only two fish in the world that eat cheese. You know what that is? A carp and a trout."
Yes.
And he's like, "You son of a bitch, I'm done with you." And he's like grabbing. So we used to make jokes about, I'd have him go make me what I call a dog food fly, and he would just take a brown puff ball and put a hook in it, and I go to Bennett because it's a hatchery stream, and we catch a snot at him and piss him off so bad because he's like, "I spent my whole life learning how to tie these," and he was a world-class fly tyer. Yes. He made some beautiful stuff, and at the end of the day, he was making corn flies out of foam and dog food flies. And he was like pissed off at me because we were selling them in the store. It was like, that's what they eat,
That's right.
It's like match the hatch. If you go to a place that's, I'm getting off tangent, but
that feeds them that stuff.
It's funny.
That's right.
So white bass are like number 2 and 3 past carp and trout.
Oh, no, trout's just terrible.
They are, but you know what?
Fun to catch.
So you strip them.
I agree with you.
You stick your knife in their butt and you run it up to their bottom of their gills, and you pull all their guts out, and then you rinse it out, and then you take them upside down. You fill them full of butter and garlic and grill them. That's it. There's nothing else you can do with them.
There's nothing good about a trout.
And then but if you got to really fill it full of butter. So that's why I'm giving you a hard time, because when you said,
up all you want, but I ain't eating no trout.
I got to put a little butter on a white bass. I think, it's a trout. There you go. Cheese
If
eater.
you guys got some good trout deals, keep them to yourself. I don't want to know about it. I would say call in. Don't call in. We don't want to.
We're gonna have to go down to Bennett and just go fishing.
I do. I enjoy.
And we'll film
it
and put it on the show.
I enjoy catching them. There's nothing more fun than to go to the White River. I made an actual trip to the White River last year.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And
we
had
did.
a ball.
We did.
Fish was one of the better guides down there, and just had a great time.
Yeah. You want to change the subject?
Catch and release. Turn them all back.
You want to change the subject?
Sure,
you want to keep talking
Whenever
about like cooking fish?
Let's go.
Well, let's back up. So while we're on those fish, because since it's the cooking show tonight, crappie. Any way other than deep fry do you do them? Do you bake those too?
Yeah, we bake some.
There's a thin lemon pepper in the oven. I like that. That's all right.
There's nothing better than skillet fried crappie, though.
I will eat a bass that I deep hook and kill.
Sure.
If I'm out there fun fishing, just don't waste the meat. I'll eat that. Don't like it. And you hear all those stories about you're going to die of mercury if you eat like 5 million pounds in your life. But
my grandmother would make me bring her in 3 small spotted bass every time I went fishing.
Yep.
And that's what she ate. And she loved a spotted bass.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's cool. I don't think there's any wrong way to make a walleye.
Oh no.
It'd
be hard to screw them up.
No, I mean your mom, used to always tell me, it's like all these fish are great, but that right there, son, is a steak.
That's right.
That's the steak of the lake,
Yeah,
is Mr.
nobody.
Walleye. You know.
When that comes over in the boat, in my boat, that's my fish
Yep.
because it's my boat.
Oh, we're getting some comments here
That's
too. We've
right.
got one blackened on a Blackstone grill is really good. Flat
What?
grill. I didn't say
Yeah.
what, but I mean, you blacken any fish, probably all right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, a lot of people
Didn't know
love
we were gonna
stuff
talk about
blackened.
cooking fish.
I'm kind of a puss when it comes to hot stuff.
Yeah.
And when I say that, blackened even is a little too hot for me
Really?
sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big wimp when it comes to that.
Huh.
And I always have been. I've never liked hot stuff.
I love hot stuff.
But
It's kind of like, and I'm going to get really gross here. It's kind of like dairy. When you get, thanks, Kevin. Kevin said crappie blackened on the Blackstone grill. He clarified. So, Kevin K's. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. It's like dairy. Dairy really messes with my stomach. Like, if, it just does. But you know what? I drink a glass of milk before I go to bed anyway. For two reasons. Number one, I like it. And number two, everyone in bed pays the price, and I kind of have fun with it. So that's just the way it works.
it's just the way you use it.
Because that's right, and that's just it. And I was having a conversation with my daughter, not telling her, but she's like, "Dad, does milk like really tear you up at night?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you drink it anyway?" I'm like, "I do." It's like, "Me too." I'm like,
Awesome.
"That's my girl. That's my girl." So yeah, change subject now. Since we're not talking about,
She gasses her poor future
she
husband.
gasses her fiance. That's right. I hope it's gas.
Yes.
So who knows? So yeah, we lost a legend yesterday in fishing. I don't know if you know this or not, but Mickey Bruce out of Georgia.
Yep.
Did you know Mickey?
Yes, I did.
Got any stories?
I did. I drawed Mickey one time on Lake Okeechobee, and it was when I was very, very young. I was probably 18, 19 years old, and Mickey had friends down there on Okeechobee, and so Mickey was always kind of ahead of the game when you went to the tournaments at Okeechobee, and I got lucky and drawed him, and we went out and that's back when it was 7 fish limit, and Mickey had his 7 fish in the boat in 30 minutes, and I got one, and finally, he finally took mercy, and he says, "Hey, stupid, you're not paying attention." And he called me stupid. There was no, he did not mince around with words. He said, "Hey, stupid, you're not paying attention." And I said, "All right, show me." Pitches his worm in a little patch of Kissimmee grass with 2 reeds sticking up there. And then he stuck his rod under his arm and he got out a cigarette and he lit a cigarette up and he took his rod back in his hand and he says, "Yeah, there he is." And he reels down, sets up, catches a fish. His bait probably sat there for 30 seconds. Well, what was happening was those fish were spawning. And when you would pitch to a likely looking spot, hence the reeds sticking up in a maze of grass, you were spooking that fish away with your cast. And it would run away. And he would sit there and just hold on to it, give it several seconds to come back.
A half a cigarette.
And get on the bed, yeah. Get it to come back. Well, once I got to paying attention, you could sit and watch your line, and you could see the grass move and part, coming back to the bed. And once it get back over there, and you think, "Oh, he's standing right there by my worm," you just went woohoo, and bonk, you catch him.
A woohoo?
That's right.
Woohoo!
And but you had to let it sit there. And in Florida, they call it dead sticking. I mean, it's very popular down there. But it's bed fishing when you can't see them. And trust me, I have done it a million times. You get in a very, very likely looking spot. You make a good cast. Let it set. Let him come back. Let him get comfortable back. If you've spooked him, let him come back, and Mickey had to take me by the hand and say, "Hold up there, stupid. You're not listening. You're not paying attention at all." He said, "You're a little juiced up." He said, "You might be a little young for this yet." He told me, he said, "I don't condone taking up smoking or something like that, but he said, just find something to do. He said, stick your hand in your pocket, but don't touch your reel handles. Just stand there for just a few seconds."
Well, see, you said you don't condone smoking, but I was thinking, it seems like every cool tip that I've heard from the heroes of fishing always involves a cigarette.
You can.
There's always like a cigarette involved in that.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's
patience.
An extra second.
Yeah, it's the patience in it.
Extra few seconds.
I mean, even your dad used to talk about, like jerkbait fishing.
Sure.
You gotta let that baby set long enough. You gotta get a few pulls off the smoke, and he never said it that way. That's
Mickey,
how I said it. I use the term pull.
the
Take a
greatest
pull.
thing about Mickey is Mickey was so unlike everybody else when it came to like his tackle. Um, he drawed a buddy of mine that owned an actual tackle company, Pat Trainer. Back when I first started out,
Which tackle company? Do you remember?
I
All
I don't know.
right.
It was down from Round Table.
Okay, gotcha.
But
Like tackle
anyways,
store.
no, he owned like a little tackle company, sold jigs and
Oh,
spinner
gotcha.
baits
Okay,
and
okay,
stuff.
okay.
And his tackle was immaculate. Everything in Pat's box was just neatly placed and everything about
So
it.
not Dion Hibden.
No, not me.
I
No,
got it.
not
Okay.
at all.
Fire away.
And
Go ahead. Proceed.
and he drawed Mickey at Thousand Islands in New York, which Mickey and my dad and me, we made the top 10 a lot up there. It was just really, really good largemouth fishing. Everybody else wanted to go smallmouth fishing. We didn't want to go. We didn't want to do it. And we would catch them largemouth fishing. We would catch big stringers largemouth fishing. We might not catch 50 a day, but we would catch the 5 right ones. And Mickey was one of those guys and did 99% of it on a black and blue jig. And we knew that. Pat knew that when he drawed him, and he goes out with Mickey, and the problem you have with up there in New York is if you throw too much color in your jig, the pikes will eat it off.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get a pike bite, and he'll just bite your jig right off. Well, this was about the third day of the tournament, and Mickey was running low on jigs, and using a piece of #1 pork chunk and a half-ounce jig. Actually, it was like a 7/16 because he used to use Stanley jigs. My mind's not very good, but I can remember exactly what guys used to throw to catch him.
When they caught him.
He throwed Stanley jigs is what he throwed way back in the day. And Pat said that, Mickey had a whole box full of jigs. He was sponsored by him and had a whole, box full of jigs. And he said he stood there on the front of the boat and finally a pike bit him off. And he said, I remember because I had picked it up 2 or 3 times through the day and tried to throw it where I wasn't stepping on it. And he said it was a black and blue jig that he had stepped on and walked on for about a week, and it didn't have 3 or 4 strands of rubber left in it. But he said it was just, you couldn't even hardly tell it was black and blue. And he said he jumped down in the bottom of the boat and just picked that jig up. And Pat says, come on, dude, you're seriously not going to tie that on. He says, oh, it's just good as any of the rest. And he ties this jig on, strings a piece of #1 pork chunk on it, throws it out, and catches the big fish of the tournament on the next cast. and so Mickey was never one of those guys, I think he was one of those guys that he felt like he could catch one on absolutely anything. Right. It didn't have to be pretty. It just had to be efficient. It had to be what they wanted, and he was always one of them type of guys, and he lived on Lake Lanier, and just was an awesome fisherman down there. And I remember one time we were all down there, and that's back where not really shaky heading, but shaky worming, Texas rigging it with like a little bead sometimes, and leaving your sinker loose so you could pop that sinker around and make a lot of racket was one of their big deals. And I asked Mickey one time, I said, what color worm I need to be throwing? He says, it doesn't matter. And I said, come on, really? And he says, no, really, it really does not matter. Mm-hmm. And that particular day, I ran out of the worms that I had been throwing, the color that I'd been throwing, and he was absolutely 100% correct. It did not matter. As long as it made a little bit of racket when you shook it around, that's all that mattered. And, which was kind of cool, because, and then there was my dad. You got 2 guys about the same age, and then you got one that's totally particular. My dad carried fingernail polish in his pocket for when he would knock a little chip of paint off of his jig head. He would repaint it, lay that rod down, pick up another rod with the same bait on it, and throw it till that paint dried. And he wouldn't let lead show on his bait. And then you got guys like Mickey that, it really doesn't matter.
What do you think?
Does
it matter?
I find myself going both ways.
I know you're particular about some things.
There's some things I am particular about, absolutely. But there's a lot of times I
Just
pick a jig up out of my trash bin, tie it on. It's got a rusty hook, and I throw it.
as long
I
as
don't
tips,
do
and
I don't do that in tournaments, but
sure, but let's talk about rusty hooks for just a second, because I was thinking about this the other day. Hook can be rusty if the tip is sharp. Who gives a crap?
you just got to be careful in this day and age
I'm just saying.
that they're not pitted. If they
What, just
rust,
sliding through on the hook set?
well, and
Or you think of
they'll
breaking
break.
off?
They'll
Yeah.
break.
Yeah,
You'll
I'm sorry. I'm
you'll set the
sorry.
hook and come in, and you'll
Yeah.
just have a
I'm
hook.
I'm in my mind. I'm thinking keepers, not 6-pounders.
No, well,
You got it. Yeah.
I got to think about them too.
No, I got it. I see it
I
on
try
bigger
to-
fish. I
I try
get
to
it. Yeah.
focus.
I got it. I got it.
If you don't ever think you're going to catch one, you
But
probably
what I'm
never
saying
going
is
to catch one.
a little surface rust really ain't a deal, right?
No, not at all.
Because by the time you throw it in the water and sling it a few times, it's probably not gonna have any rust on it at all.
Yeah,
As
I
long
mean,
as
you
it's
know,
sharp.
when you're fishing for 11.5 pounds,
Shut up.
sometimes
haven't-
it doesn't matter.
Haven't really done that here in the last few
No,
weeks.
you had 15 the last time you
I
went.
had 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I did have 8.5
Yeah.
the first day, 15 the second day, but
Doesn't matter. You compensated. It went.
had
went
some
the right
good
direction.
fish. Yeah. So now we'll see if that holds up, but kind of feeling good. I was out
Last 2 times you've been out, you've been in the big money.
yesterday. Yesterday I went out kind of cruising. I had to go do a minor adjustment to a boat. I had a buddy of mine had a transducer in the wrong place. We had to go shift it over a little bit. And I really wanted to go out with a jerk bait in that wind and just catch a couple. And I just really didn't want to because I was lazy. Because it was really windy, and I'm like,
It's really
I don't want
windy,
to get
yes.
there and fight it, Because the spots I wanted to fish was really windy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was coming over the bow a couple times, and that's like when you make that. And for those that have never fished Lake of the Ozarks and don't know, but Wilson Bend, Red Fox, you make that corner. When I made that corner heading upstream, she was coming right down the pipe, and I'm like, oh boy, this is not pleasant. But it's great. It's great going downwind. Sucks going upwind.
There's been many a time when I was coming back from the Little Buffalo and I got to that stretch and I thought, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what.
I might have screwed up. I might not make it on time.
Well, I called my buddy and I said, hey, I'm just gonna hop in the boat, run up there and take care of your boat. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, why not? And he goes, it's a little windy out here on the water and up the pipe. And I was like, me being a smart ass, I'm like, ain't my first rodeo, Chief.
That's right.
We're all good. I dropped the boat off the lift and headed up there and ran to that corner. And I went, holy shit, this ain't good. But fortunately, it's only 3 miles. It was right before Proctor. But yeah, it was a little windy. But yeah, so I didn't fish. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. You go. I guess we made Danny mad. He's going for another cocktail.
He's just going for more beer.
There it is. Yeah.
Does that mean you need one?
No, I'm good. No, we're all good. All right. So yeah, great turnout tonight. Great people watching online. Want to thank you. I've been thinking about it. Do you have any idea on our giveaway tonight?
How would it do it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
Can it have them ask a trick or treat question or something?
A trick or treat question.
Yeah. If you can trick us.
That's like the dumbest. Oh, okay.
If you can trick us, then.
So let's. Okay,
we'll
so
give you a
here.
treat.
So I've got for those that are watching online. You guys don't qualify out here tonight because I have a special Halloween present for all of you tonight.
2 giveaways tonight.
Let's just do all one.
Okay, that's fine.
If you've got a question, unless should it be just tonight or want to let it roll through tomorrow?
No, let's do it tonight.
Tonight, if you've got a stump the chump question for Dion,
because
they'll all stump me. I've got about $45 worth of tackle I'm going to give away to you, and I'll even mail it to you for free. Got a few jerk baits from Vicious Fishing. I've got some Hibden Hammer jigs. Got some Bojangles soft plastics, all courtesy of Hiawatha Beach Resort. And you got a question for us? Fire it in there. If you can stump the chump tonight, I'll throw that out there, and that's your treat for the trick for Halloween. And then also, I have jerk baits for everybody in the crowd tonight. So if you guys want a free jerk bait, got those for you. They're actually discontinued.
Yeah.
But so I'm really not. It's not a shameless plug per se for Vicious, but they made a great jerk bait,
Yeah,
and
good old jerk bait.
there's I don't even want to talk about it. They couldn't make them anymore. So that's all we're gonna say about that. They're
For
really
whatever reason they can't.
they're really nice jerk baits that really look like some of the top name jerk bait companies baits, and now they can't make them anymore. But we're not gonna go any further than that. They're great baits. So yeah, that's what I got. That's it.
Yep.
You got a shameless plug tonight?
No, not really.
Really?
Mickey had a son named John, And
Hey, you tell the story real quick. I'm going to be right back.
He fished for quite a bit. I hope he's still out there going around fishing. The Georgia bunch, right there around Lanier was really, really close. So I'm sure that rocked everybody's world pretty hard. I was actually very good friends with his little wife Susie, when she passed away of cancer probably 10, 12 years ago. But super nice family. Super nice family. I mean, I don't know what happened. I haven't read anything about Mickey or anything. I had a friend call and say, "Hey, you heard Mickey passed," and that's the only thing I know about it. But anyways, super nice guy. One of the guys that everybody looked up to for many, many years. So I looked up to him because he was a jig pitching mother. He could do it with the best of them, and kind of like us, didn't have to be a good day for jig fishing, just had to be a day. And basically, it had to end in Y to be a good jig day.
Got it.
Got it?
My teeth were floating. You
Question?
ever heard that term?
Question?
No questions.
No
Nobody
questions
nobody
yet?
even cares yet. No, they're not even going to do it.
Well, there you go.
So I don't know. I guess I can ask you my own trick question.
Okay.
What's my favorite color? No, I'm kidding.
What's your favorite
No,
color?
I don't. Just kidding. Glitter.
Glitter?
Yeah, I like glitter.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Thanks.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind.
I didn't say rainbow glitter. I said glitter. Glitter. Glitter, glitter, glitter. No, something about the holographic.
Yeah, just stop.
No.
You're losing on that one. You should have picked something other than glitter.
Damn, dude.
Anything.
All right. So I guess if nobody's going to ask any questions, we'll just have to throw a oh, here we go. I got a question for you. Ready?
I'm ready.
Who won the first ever Red Man's tournament?
First ever Red
Yeah.
Man tournament?
Yeah.
Hell, that was a billion years ago.
That's a question.
Won the first Red Man tournament?
Yeah. I wonder what year that was. Had to be in the 70s, wouldn't it?
No, probably before that, maybe.
No, you think?
I don't know how old Operation Bass is, but that's been a long time ago.
Well, it's worth a guess, isn't
And
it?
it's probably on some little podunk
Well, wait,
lake, and
before, so
you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific.
Robert Sadler, do you know the answer before we go any further?
They only have 160 of those a year.
Just hold on. Let's see if he
Yeah,
let's
he's
see
gonna have
if
to
he
answer.
knows the answer, because
Yeah.
you can't. Dion can't see this, but if you know the answer, Robert, punch it in there. If you don't, that's okay too,
Yeah, I can't
because
see it.
I'm
so
curious. So
I'll try it. I'll try harder. If he gives me where it was at, maybe.
Here's here's another one. You ready for this one? I can't stump him on fishing, but what was the original name of Bush beer?
Oh shoot! We had that cooler in here.
Oh,
We had that cooler in here that was the original.
oh my gosh! Hang on a second. Yeah,
Oh man, I am so close.
because it is Bavarian, right?
Yeah.
It was.
Dadgummit.
No, Kevin Case doesn't have to be fishing related. Let's see.
We had a cooler in here that was.
It was
named
like Stein Cooler or something. It had like a fart name in it, like Dootin.
Kentucky Lake. That
Do you have
was
the
first
answer?
one.
Oh, do you have the actual? Do you have the answer?
For the first one.
Oh, hey, but Bush. I have the answer. Kim Pruitt says it was Bush Bavarian. That was the original name, but I don't know if that's right. I think it was Budweiser had a name before that, but I'm not sure. So I don't know.
Kentucky Lake in what year?
Do you have the winner there? The name? What year? Do you know the year? We're getting
83.
1983. See, I thought Red Man's came out a little later. Definitely stumped him on that one.
No, I know a lot of those guys from that
He
age.
actually, what is it?
Here
He's the only angler.
we've got our
to
tech
win
guy
it
out there looking it up.
He's the only what?
Angler to win it twice.
Must have been the Red Man Championship, not the Red
you're-
Man tournaments. But we can.
Because I've won 4 or 5 of them.
Hey, do you know Kevin Kays?
Yes.
He says, all right, Dion, which of your family did I coyote hunt with a lot?
Clint.
Was it Clint?
Clint and Corny. Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. I think that
Clint
was
and Corny. Yeah.
too quick of an answer there.
The other one was in the Arkansas.
Huh?
The other one, he
Throw the name out. Who was it?
Dean
Not,
Snarky.
Snarky?
Oh, that's the All American.
Oh, the Redman All American.
Yeah, I could have give you the All American winner.
All right. Yeah,
No, he didn't say All American winner.
well, let's go ahead and give
I've
that
actually
one.
fished with Dean Starkey.
Hey, Robert, I'm going to give you that one.
Yeah,
Okay, but he doesn't know the winner either. Does anybody? I mean, you guys don't. No, he didn't know either. But that's fair. I'd say, gosh, back then, who knows? Whew. So yeah,
And it wasn't Dean Starkey.
Robert, send me
Dean
your
Starkey's won the All American. Yes.
Robert Sadler, send me your email, and I'll drop you a return email, and we'll get this stuff shipped out to you. Congratulations on stumping Dion. Next time, you better have an answer, dude. That's something else. Yep, and it was in 1955. Anheuser-Busch launched Busch Bavarian, so I win that one. You didn't.
Yeah.
'Cause
You got that
some
one.
days I know my beer. Some days.
We had a guy in here back last winter, and he had a cooler.
Yeah, but
that
it was.
had the name on it,
I know.
and it was
Well, you know when the really cool stuff shows up in the store, you know where it goes, right? It's the old man's house.
to your dad's.
Oh
pile.
yeah, it's
of
in the
course.
pile. So I couldn't remember what it was,
Well, he's
but
not
it was
stupid. I mean, he knows.
because it was like some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that never fails. But
That's right.
when he buys the old crap reels, like I talked about earlier, they stay here. So if you guys want some 1940s and 50s broken reels, I got a whole pile of them he bought last week too. So yeah, it's all good. That was fun.
Yeah.
So trick or treat. We ought to do that every week. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lloyd? You want to do that? You want
Have
to buy tackle every
have
week? All right.
Have a question thought up.
He's like, yeah, I'm buying.
Have a question thought up, but when you have the
Yeah.
question thought up, make sure you have it to where you can prove the answer.
Yeah,
All
okay,
right?
so we're gonna modify the rules
Because
as we go. Yeah.
Dean Starkey is not the answer to that.
Yeah.
You know, and if it was
But it
somebody
was
who's
still-
won more than one,
Or maybe
more than one red
Hey,
man, hell, I've won a half dozen, so
maybe-
it doesn't matter.
maybe we can try it both ways too. We have one prize for the ones that ask in and one prize for the question going out.
Well, that
Maybe
could
we
be.
could ask a question like,
Yeah.
hey, from the show, how does Dion like his hybrid bass cooked?
There you
know?
go. You can do that.
If you've been listening, you got 30 seconds to put it in there. I'll
That's
get you a
right.
prize. And they'd be like, soaked in butter on the grill and
That's
it takes nasty
always-
fish taste out. I'm
It's
like,
always
you
fun.
win.
See if anybody's paying attention. Huh? What temperature?
165.
350. 350, 15 minutes, and it's done. If you let it go longer than that, it's going to dry out.
Oh.
You can.
Oh, here
if
we
you
go. Now
can.
the guys in the crowd are asking how to
You
cook
can
damn
if you
bass.
want.
Oh, my God.
If
Here
you
we
want to
go.
flip it over, you can. My wife actually flips it over. I don't bother with it because I like it to be a little undone on.
Now, if
you
you're
know, a
just
little bit
tuning,
more undone.
if you're just tuning the show and he talks about his wife flipping over, she's talking about cooking bass.
There you go.
So
Cooking
if
hybrids.
you just tuned in and said, "Oh, my wife likes to be flipped over," no, he's talking about the hybrid bass. So that's what we're talking
She's
about
probably
there.
watching
And
and
how
she's
to
probably
cook.
mortified right now.
So no, it's all good. Got to have her on. We got to get her on next week or two. It'd be pretty good.
We
so.
can.
Yeah.
We can. She talks
Yep.
about it. She watches the show. And honey, I didn't come up with that. These guys did.
All right, so check it out. So thank you, Robert Sadler. He sent me his email, and then he sent back, and he's like, hey, I got a buddy at the lake. He can pick up the tackle. So I don't even have to mail it. So thanks very much,
There you
Robert.
go.
I'll have it ready for you. If you trust John to give it to you, he said John Miller will pick it up. And if you trust him to do that, I'll give it to John. But
And
even if he
not,
is your
John's got
cousin,
some nice fishing tackle.
we'll see. If not, we're going to keep it. Yeah, so cool. Congratulations on that. You'll enjoy it. I got you some good colors. I got you, let's see here. Let me see if I can hold it up here in front of the camera here. I got you, Robert. I got you a couple of jerk baits here. They are one sexy shad and one is a gizzard shad, which we all like the shad stuff. And then on the shameless plug side, I'm getting it out here. On the shameless plug here, Robert, I got you a green pumpkin half-ounce Hibden hammer jig, and I got you a bar fight, which is black and blue, for totally reasons why they call it bar fight. Half-ounce jigs there, and to couple them with trailers. Tonight, I got you the Willie, which Dion's been talking about in green pumpkin, and to mix up the Nos Craw, which is a little crawdad bait, got you that one and the black and blue to pair up with both jigs. So congratulations on that, Robert. Have John come by and pick them up. We'll get it to you. And for all the guys in the crowd, like I said, I got jerk baits for everybody. So enjoy those. $9 value on each one. $8.99. which I didn't pay that much. We struck a deal, didn't we, Lloyd? We got wholesale prices. We know how this works.
That's right.
So get a little bang for your bucks. You all get a jerk bait, and that's your happy Halloween from Dion and I and the entire staff of the two of us at Real Unfiltered Talk. Shameless plugs. Of course, I always want to thank Lloyd and June at Hiawatha. They've done us great. He actually last month, he came in a few days ago. He's here tonight, and so I'm talking about him. He said, "Hey, got to write you a check." And I said, "Dude, I haven't even cashed your last two." And I said, "Let's just hold on a minute." So I took his check to the bank, and we bought some tackle with it, and so we're good to go. So he's been just loyal to it. Thanks again for the great crowd tonight coming in. Always want to thank myself and Dad for paying the electric bill.
That's right.
So it's nice, the $40 having us all hang out here tonight. What do you got? Anything?
Nothing. I'm good.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of quiet.
Ah,
All right. That's it. I think we're going to wrap it up then.
sounds good.
So it's going to be windy. We got a lot of rain coming in the next few days here in Missouri. If you guys are out there and it's windy and it's rainy in your areas, make sure you wear your life jacket. You're a stickler on that.
Fishing's going to get better. Yes, I do. I wear my life jacket all the time.
Yep, not even on a small run. So make sure you put your life jacket on, put that kill switch, attach it to it, because life jacket's not gonna do any good if that prop runs over. You want to spin in circles and chops you up.
That's right.
And not be graphic, but that's the way it works, guys. You hear about the news all the time down here.
Yep.
Wear your life jacket, your kill switch. Watch. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Bow hooking is to the left, right?
Most time, yes.
Yep. So you're rounding a point, and you're cutting the corner short, and you're cutting her hard left. Make sure that boat doesn't pull you in and send you flying. So that's called bow hook, and we'll talk about that another night. Other than that, we've got some guests lined up coming up the next few weeks. If you guys are like really hoping we have really cool guests, we're running out of the cool guys. So, but I got some guys lined up coming in. We're still working with the conservation department, and it's going to be a really good winter because when things slow down, they're looking for stuff to do. So, got some great people coming online. Want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We get those numbers up, then we'll start getting paychecks, and that's our goal. So, at least I hope.
Absolutely.
Because it's either that. The only way to make $1 million, the little 20-something-year-old girls that do it, they put thongs on. And I've told Dion over and over again, if you just wear a thong, let me post some videos on Instagram, we're rich. And he just will not do it. So, but I told him $20 is $20, but he just won't play that game. But we're working on it.
The money's just not there
in
yet.
the meantime, I guess we'll just talk a little fishing.
Yeah.
So, from all of us, again, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
We sure appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you again, same time, same place, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. If you're in Missouri and you're in the area, we're right here in the middle of Laurie, Missouri. It's always free to come in and watch. The guys have some adult beverages. We always have something going on, so give us a shout. We'd love to see you.
Fun.
Thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Appreciate it.